Go ahead.
Coach, I know the league came out with some things you can do this weekend for DeMar Hamlin. But what are the Saints going to do at any of those?
Well, I haven't seen anything that the league has sent. I talked to a couple players. I know the league sent us some T-shirts to wear, and so it'll probably be something that we'll discuss tomorrow.
What you don't have to say what you're going to do with Trevor Penning, but how do you make
Nor will I.
How do you make the decision? How do you decide if he is available? If he's able to take a full game workload, or is that a health decision? Is that where he is in his progression decision?
Oh, I don't think the workload's a question.
Okay.
I think he's gotten plenty of work, over the last month and a half, and so. He'll be ready to go for whatever role he's called on to do.
Yeah, the results kind of speak for themselves, but just full season having the co-DCs, how did that kind of work out for you guys? And just did it get better as the season went along, or was it kind of good from the beginning?
Well, certainly I think we've played better as the season's gone along, and like I've talked about a lot this week, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I think you're really judged on where you finish, not where you start, and I think we've done a nice job of playing defense over the last couple of months of the season.
And how did those guys' roles kind of change this year in their new role?
Yeah, not a ton, but yet they were when I wasn't able to be in the room, they were able to kind of keep everything organized and get us in the right spots.
Do you feel like that's something that could continue next season?
Yeah, look, yeah.
Based on how well
Yeah,
you
well,
this year.
look, we've played well, so I don't want to get into all the different scenarios of the end of the year. I mean, I'm focused on let's go win a game against Carolina. We'll have plenty of time to focus on those things after the season's over.
Players' mindset going into this last game?
Again, I'm not a psychologist, so I mean, it'd be better to ask those guys that question. But I think we've had a really good week of practice. I believe our guys are focused in, and the only thing we've really talked about this week is finishing this season out strong and going and trying to get a win at home against a good team.
Dennis, after seeing what Cam has done in his career here, is there any particular play that sticks out to you just from the amount of time that you've spent with him? Or?
It's too many.
Yeah.
That's
too
kind
many.
Of
the point of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been a highly productive player for us for a long time. I still think he's, if not the most well-rounded defensive end in our league, I think he's one of them. There's a lot of guys that go out there and have a lot of stats, sacking the quarterback, things of that nature. But you'd be hard-pressed to find a guy that can be available as much as he is, play the number of snaps that he plays, play the run the way that he does, and still be able to affect the quarterback. So he's been outstanding.
A couple of players the other day had mentioned that having a psychologist here has helped them a lot. Has that been something that y'all just did this season, or if y'all had?
Well, we've had a psychologist available, and look, it's not number one that all those things are confidential. So, any conversations that any of our players have with a psychologist is really confidential information. But I know some guys have said to me that they've utilized Dr. Chambliss and that they feel like that she's been effective in helping them. So I think it's important that those things are available.
How long has she been here or available to the team?
I wouldn't know exactly how many years. I mean, she's been here for a while now.
I know he's only had a couple of opportunities so far, but Benjamin, what have you seen from him so far, and what are you hoping to see?
Yeah, a little juice, little burst. Had a really nice run last week against Philly. Got out around the edge, so in that first drive. So I see a good runner that brings a little bit of a change of pace, and we're going to keep working with him.
Dennis, we've asked you guys a million times about Taysom, but you guys have started doing that wildcat a little more. That kind of had its time in the NFL, and then, I mean, what is your feeling on? I mean, it got so phased out. Was that because there was defenses figured it out, and then it wasn't worth it, or like, why isn't it used more, and why did you guys see it being effective again?
I think it's not utilized as much, really because you've seen so many more quarterbacks that have that mobility, and then some that you don't, like a Tom Brady or somebody like that, it's kind of hard to keep him from being under center. So, and look, I think the benefit of when we have Taysom back there is that, he can play the quarterback position. He can throw the ball down the field. He can create plays not only with his feet but also with his arm. And I think that's a different deal. And then we get to the wildcat a little bit, change up some of the looks, and just give the defense a little something else to have to prepare for.
I can't recall, and this is more top of my head, so I probably should have researched it before asking. But I mean, are teams like Baltimore and Philly doing that as much as you guys have done that in the last few weeks, or is that kind of a new wrinkle you guys are?
In terms of
having like Hurts and Sanders in the backfield, and Sanders is getting snaps.
Yeah, no,
a
a lot of these teams, like Philadelphia, have a really athletic, mobile quarterback and utilize him with the quarterback run game. Baltimore the same way, and so you don't see it as much with those guys because they're taking that same philosophy and that same approach on every single snap every time the quarterback takes the ball. So, I think, you're not seeing it a ton, but every now and then you see a few snaps of different people doing it.
And then what's the value of having Taysom and Alvin and sort of seeing something at the line of scrimmage and deciding who's getting the snap between the two of them, I guess?
Well, look, you have both those guys back there, and obviously Taysom can take the snap initially, and you have a lot of run-pass options, and then you kind of see what the look is, and then just shift over. And there's a few different plays that we can run out of that I think can create some challenges for the defense.
Is Taysom's ability to lead block on those two kind of an X factor that makes it a little bit?
Yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of it. I mean, look, the whole key is, taking your personnel and knowing what they can do really well, and trying to put them in those positions to give yourself a chance to have success. And Taysom's ability to run the ball, Taysom's ability to throw the ball, Taysom's ability to be a lead blocker. I mean, all those are things that we take into account. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, guys,